Wayne, I think is how I pronounce it. How are you?
Good, good.
Good, good, good. We got Rahul, AJ. Oh, Shimon's here and Andre. Wonderful. This is a great group. Okay. So folks, I think there's still a few people coming through, but I wanted to just, say got something special planned for today. We're gonna talk about something that's on point, and then I want to go into like Q&A and questions and really make sure that there's an open question between myself, Mohammed, and Rahul here. We're going to do our best to answer all of your questions that you may have and get started. I'm going to ask just to make sure. I love doing this, which is making sure you can hear me. So can you just give me a one or
Yar.
a thumbs up if you can hear me? Because I know I tend to use my inner voice. Okay, thank you so much. Like it's
Yes.
one of those things. On the last call, somebody was saying like they couldn't hear me. I was like, that's not good. So I gotta make sure. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna go into
Yes.
full. So I got something special today that we're gonna talk about in the first 10, 15 minutes, and then we're gonna go into like I said, all of your questions and answers and really talk through different things like strategies. We're changing up this you know webinar. One of these webinars are going to be more for the people that are just getting started on their AI voice journey, and then the second webinar that we're going to alternate, so it's going to be every other week, is going to be where we go really deep and we talk about more of the advanced things, things like how do I, my workflow works, advanced selling strategies, um, success stories, what's working, what's not working. We're
We
gonna
never see
become
him.
like a little community here working on that. Oh, Eric, can I ask you to mute yourself, please? Thank you, sir. But let's get started with what's on the agenda today, which is voice AI in 2025, what to expect. And as you know, when it comes to 2025 and the end of the year, we're looking at into 2024 and the end of the year. We want to look forward, what to expect. And as you guys are now in the forefront of AI, and especially the voice AI, I thought what not better than to talk about this. But I want to remind everybody who we are, and our vision is really to simplify useful AI solutions for the world. I just came back from it's 2 week, about a week and a half in LA, hanging out with Rahul, Cody, and Reza, and we really ironed out this, vision very clearly and articulated it that this is what we want to do. We want to take simple, useful AI solutions, uh, and we want this to be something that we think of that can be used anywhere, wherever you are in the world. And that's the vision that we're holding ourselves to. But our mission is to create plug and play AI solutions for businesses. I think that's really important. The idea of taking AI and being able to have it plug and play and be something that businesses can use with ease. That is what we're aiming. That's what our mission is to do. That's what we're going to wake up every morning and work towards. All right. Now, you've all met, I hope, Ava. And if you haven't, this is our AI voice platform. This is where you can do your inbound, outbound calling. We've made it as simple, but the key word here is not just simple. We've made it useful, right? So you can take our solutions and start using them in business context situations right away within minutes. And this is a huge differentiator for how we think and approach all problems. There are companies out there that do a lot of things. We're going to do one thing, which is AI voice. And that's what you're going to see us specialize in. That's what's going to be our differentiator. And that plug and play, that simplicity and creating useful solutions is what we aim to do. Now we integrate into CRMs. GHL, I always say, is our first integration, but it's not going to be our last. You can count on that. As the new year rolls out, you'll hear more and more about where we're going and what's going to happen, and you'll be able to take advantage of that. But voice AI in 2025, what to expect? There are three trends that I'm going to talk to you about, and I've identified these trends from the lens of looking at voice AI. There are lots of different trends out there that I'm not going to cover here that you're going to see, such as ethical AI, a lot of questions about spreading it, distribution. But what I want to talk about are these three areas. One is the adoption of AI voice in 2025. The second is this idea of AI autonomous agents. When we talk about autonomous agents, do you guys know what autonomous agents are? It's the idea that there's decision making agents that can do things on your behalf. This is something to watch for in 2025, that the power of AI is going to become stronger because they're going to be able to do and have the autonomy to make these individual decisions. For example, should it go out and schedule an appointment at this time on your behalf based on just having the context of when your calendar is made? You will start seeing that there'll be trends where they heads in this direction. Augmented working is a huge trend. You're no longer going to go into your workforce and work just alone. You will have your AI buddy with you, or your AI assistant, as some people like to call it. And that is going to happen through various mediums, through different distribution channels, and different ways in which you work. When I talk about the adoption of AI voice, I'm going to show out the staggering number to you. 8 billion voice assistants will be used globally by 2025. That's going to be almost as many people on the world using, and more people in the world using having a voice assistant than the actual number of people. That is massive, and it's going to be commonplace. It's going to be something that everybody's going to use. I was having this conversation with a real estate agent friend of mine, and I was talking to him about the AI voice work that we're doing, and his reaction to what I was talking about when I said, we're going to have AI voice calling, was first, no, no, no. If I hear AI voice, I just put down the phone. And I said to him, you won't be able to do that 6 months from now because you're going to lose too many leads and too many business opportunities because everybody is going to be using AI voice. And his reaction to that was, what do you mean? He goes, you're right. I go, yes, the way you're thinking is like a dinosaur. You have to come and move into the world of where we are today because today, and it's evident when you see the adoption of AI voice. Now, this AI voice spread is not just going to be through your phone. They're going to happen through lots of different ways. And these are three takeaways that I want you to take away from this. One, these assistants are going to be mainstream. They're going to change and be everywhere within the contact centers. So if you're thinking about a niche and how to work, contact centers are going to be massive. There's no more going to be this you know triaging happening and beginning without AI voice because there's no need to. As these AI technologies become stronger and smarter and more intelligent, it's going to transform all of the customer service experience, regardless of the niche that you're working within. The other trend to watch for is more websites are going to incorporate both AI chatbots and conversational widgets. Okay. And in fact, 41% of smart device users will utilize voice searches frequently, all the time. And you can think of these as, when you walk into your house, this could be your home center. I know Rahul's setting up a massive new home center, so he's going to walk in and use his voice to turn on the lights. But even beyond turning on the light, he's going to be able to, again, this is where the autonomous agents come into. Imagine you walk into your house, Rahul, and you're going to be able to say, I'm home for the night and I want this, this, and this, and this. This could be, I want to know, um, have I got any voice calls? Have, what is the sports game already started? And did you hear from my friends? Are they coming over? Right? Give you a very simple. These are all autonomous agents that are going to go off and answer back, and then the median in which you're going to hear that back is through that beautiful new audio system that you're going to install in your house. That's going to talk back to you and say, "Of course, Rahul, you have nobody called you, but all your friends have confirmed except Larry, because Larry couldn't make it tonight. Larry was out doing something else. He apologizes gratuitously. These are going to be the types of experiences that we're going to have, and it's going to become mainstay. And what's going to happen as a result of these experiences? is that people are going to feel very, very comfortable using and talking and interacting with AI voice. Now, why is this going to happen? When you look at what's happening with the technology, with what the capabilities and the future of voice AI means, we're going to have more enhanced capabilities. AI voice is going to become more and more human like. That integration, that experience that I just described, means that AI voice is going to be everywhere. It's going to be pervasive. Our comfort is going to be there. But did you notice something else that I just did inside of that conversation where I talked about it? I personalized it. I talked about Rahul. Well, guess who else is going to know Rahul? Because it's going to be present every day. Your AI agent, your AI voice is going to know you. It's going to know how you speak, how you talk, and it's going to start understanding your multilingual capabilities as well. It's going to understand the nuances. So if you're out in Canada out east and you say, "What are you at by?" It's going to know that that means, "Hey, um, that means how are you?" Right? So I didn't know that when I first went to the East Coast. And it's going to understand different terminologies that are used in your household, right? So everybody, and this is going to make it extremely personalized. This is because there's going to be a lot of advancements in the overall. I don't want to get too much into the tech, but the technology that you're going to see that's going to come out here is more and more advanced. Something called natural language NLU, right? And that's going to get stronger and stronger. These networks, these neural networks, are going to get into a place where it's going to understand things that it could not before, and it's going to be learning continuously in the background. And what that's going to mean is there's going to be emotional intelligence in these voice assistants. They're going to understand when you're talking and when your pitch is a little bit low, or when you might be having a have crying, or you might be happy. It's going to understand that on two levels. One, it's going to understand how you're feeling. Two, it's going to respond to you in a way that it understands also. And it's going to chuckle and it's going to laugh and it's going to say things and it's going to feel again more and more human like. And it's going to be able to autonomously and almost automatically manage the dialogue and communication that it has with you. And there's already, you can see some of this within the world of ChatGPT. If you've used some of the new advanced IR voice calling, you can see some of that capability coming out. Now, one of the things that I will talk about here also that hasn't been yet presented is that the cost of AI voice is and the type of technology is going to do this in the beginning, right, guys? Because whenever you come with a new technology, there's an initial cost for the um, how much the investment cost of it, right? But as more and more people adopt it, when you have 8 billion people using it, what's going to happen? Going to go do this, right? It's going to normalize, the cost will come down, and this will make it more pervasive, more people using it. So you guys are in the right place at the right time. But when I talk all about this, I wanted to summarize it with this concept of personalization in the future. It is going to be enhanced. It's going to provide, sorry, more data analysis in real time. So it's not just like, oh, crunching data. It's in real time going to process. And this is going to happen because there's something that's happening in the background that some of you might have heard about maybe 10 years ago and thought it disappeared, but it didn't. And it's called quantum computing. Quantum computing is emerging now. And quantum computing is going to give the ability for basically all of your computers that you have right now to work at an exponential uh, ability. And that's going to make it possible to do this in real time. I've talked about emotional intelligence, but number four here is contextual awareness. Um, I talked about when I started to have the vision of Thinker.ai and AI voice in the very beginning. I had this vision of it assisting me through very complex household items because I'm not a very good handyman. And I was like, you know what? I need somebody to come over and help me to kind of fix this thing in my house. And I was imagining using the contextual awareness of the problem that I was trying to fix with also the context of where I live, location, so I could find somebody who's just speaking to um, my glasses or whatever that new AI integrated technology is, whether it's my home assistant, and it's telling me, you know what, there are 5 people that can come to your house in the next hour, and these are the costs, and who do you want to come? And me saying, oh, recommend to me the person who has the best rating. Great, that's number 3. Fantastic. When can they be here? In an hour. How much do they charge? Great. And you know what? This is the other thing, biometrics is going to happen with voice as well. I can authorize with my voice payment and confirm the schedule. This is all upon us in the next very, very short time with personalization. And of course, multi channel integration. This is not going to just happen on your phone, on your website, but it's going to happen in your vehicles. It's going to happen um, in the way you augment your clothing, whether it's a pendant you wear or whether it's a watch you have on. There's going to be this multi channel integration and they're going to know each other and talk upon there. It is a super, super exciting time to be in AI voice. And AI voice, I'm calling it right now in 2025, is going to be kind of like the rock kid, the rock star. Everybody's going to be talking about it. And as you're using it and selling it and enabling it in your business, you're going to find that this is something that is going to just catch even more fire than it is right now. And my overall takeaway message here is we're still early. There are a lot of adopters, but guess what you better be doing in 2025? Better hustle because there's a lot of people that are going to want AI voice. So that was my introduction. I'm going to open it up to people, both for questions about the topic of AI voice in 2025, but also open it up to questions about anything you have with respect to Ava and your work. So,
Yeah, just to moderate a little bit, just raise your hand. And if you're next in line, you're more than welcome to just participate by typing your questions inside the chat so you don't forget. That'll make it easy to moderate. And real quick, before I get to you, Bill, what Mohan just covered is what's like upon us right now. Now there's work to be done today. All of that is going to be enhanced. So anybody who's already using Thinker and AI, these are our future moves because there is going to be a time and a place where I say, hey, Thinker, or hey, Ava, call Brian Puegas, chop it up with him. We want to talk about how he can leverage his insurance Facebook ads, have Thinker call on the back end, go ahead and give him a call. And then when he's ready, live transfer him to me. Done. Do the next one, do the next one, do the next one, do the next one, do the next one. So that's what's going to be coming and enhanced. So we're going to be interactively creating this relationship, just like that movie with Joaquin Phoenix, that movie called Her. We're going to have a business device just like that. Some of you guys may want to date your device. I'll leave that to your own selves. But for the most part, we're going to be using it to make some serious freaking cash flow. And this becomes the ultimate held Palm Pilot. Yes, I said Palm Pilot. Some of you guys are old enough to know what I mean. This is going to be that ultimate device that actually does the thing without a stylus, how you want it, when you want it, with your language. I talk very unique, so it's very hard to get somebody to replicate me. Not until now. Right. Okay, let's go into Q&A and let's go for it. Starting with Bill, and then when Bill's done, Dana's next.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks, Mohan, and thanks, Rahul. I'm curious because there's no doubt about it, these different interactive agents are going to come into play. Do you finding right now in your early looks at them, are you finding them at like to kind of make one that really good at one thing and just do it and then pass it off to another one and then really good at that one, pass it off to another one? Is that the kind of way forward? And extending one step beyond that, how about the actual AI engines? Because we're Chat GPT for Omni, whatever, they're all coming. But let's be honest. I mean, if I'm going for marketing stuff, I'm going with Claude. I mean, it's just way better. I mean, it just
well, I
is.
don't know about that
So,
with the
you know,
latest
that's my
updates.
question is the engines. Yeah.
I actually went back to ChatGPT for some of my marketing materials, and I've been really impressed with the way the tone has improved tremendously in the last weeks. I don't know if you tried it in the last few weeks, but they did a recent update. And I think that that's exactly the point, is that the evolution and the speed at which these upgrades are happening at LLM level, which you're talking about, which
Mm. Yep.
powers the heart of these AI voice experiences that we're having, right? That's only getting exponentially better, Bill. So you asked me a
Yeah.
question about how do you approach from a strategical point of view building out your agents, right? And you do want to build out an agent that's good, but you're going to have the power of these LLMs that's going to all of a sudden you're going to wake up one morning and it's going to be like you had a magic serum and that agent now is 10x more smarter. And that's just going to happen because that engine is getting so much smarter. And that's, thanks to the good friends at Google and OpenAI and Mistral, depends wherever you're going to get your model. All of these are getting exponentially better all the time as they add more and more parameters. And then, like I said, what's really, and this is the part that's scary that people don't yet fully comprehend, is this is without quantum computing. Once
Yep.
we have quantum computing into this is a game changer, and it will happen, and it's on the like the precipitory part of it. Probably more of it's going to happen in the latter part of 2025, but all of the
Mhm.
investments are there. I also didn't talk about energy. Energy is another key trend to be watching out as the energy controls come into play, and we start seeing more and more of that. That's going to be actually what's going to stop the growth of AI, if anything, is the fact that these
Mhm.
AI engines, as you call them, I use your language, Bill, are
Mhm.
consuming a lot of energy and a lot of water, right? So that's why you're seeing new and new energy. It's going to drive innovative energy technologies to come more and more to the forefront.
Well, I think there's already nuclear. I think Microsoft and Amazon, they're already buying their own
Yeah.
nuclear plants. I mean, they
So
kind of have
they
to,
are,
right?
they are, and what's very, very cool is that they're using something called a fourth generation of nuclear technology. And this technology is really, really small, self-contained, and uses like a fraction of the amount of water that we consume today when we do our chat GPT back and forth.
Mm. Just one
Very,
quick follow-on
So
specifically
Thieves,
regarding to Ava,
SR,
specifically regarding to Ava. When when we're asking the questions, what I'm trying to figure out is within Ava, we have the Apple idea. That's what you call it. I'm using your words. I'm Android, sorry, but I mean, I know what you mean, though. I know exactly what you mean. But what I'm curious about is there the possibility, or have you considered like throwing up almost like a semi back-end advanced mode? Because there's some things that we're using in a prompting thing that we don't know what's underneath it. So
yeah.
we're getting confusing, to be honest, we're getting confusing stuff from what we had been using. And I'm just curious if you had thought about like a quick little advanced
Yeah.
mode or something and let somebody
We,
in there. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
You know what I
So,
mean?
so absolutely. Yes and no. It'll still not be fully exposed and be like you can go to town with it. But we believe that there's a scenario that we need to create that's going to give you, it's more for the advanced user, let's call it, right? It's
Yeah.
still going to have certain guardrails like how to handle IVR and how to handle voicemail and things like that. But it's going to be a bit more like use this with your own kind of gut caution, right? But
Oh
remember our
yeah.
mission again, because we still believe that that can be a plug and play situation.
Mhm.
One of the scenarios that we're working on that should be, within a week or two released to you is something you guys all have been asking for, which is also heading in that same direction, Bill, which is the ability to now have a call, have a free flowing call, and then send a link to start off with or some kind of
Yeah.
information via either an email or SMS as follow up to that call, right? And that's our first foray into this direction. And we're gonna watch how that works, and then we're gonna iterate and then come up with more and more advanced ones that can give you more and more capabilities. But because we believe in the plug and play model and we want to make this for not developers, right? Our target is not developers. When I say Android, I kind of think of like, the
Yeah.
the technologically kind
I,
of people who
I know.
tinker and kind of
Yeah.
make it happen. Uh, but it is for the business people to be able to just go out there and for you guys here as agencies to really be rapidly deploying AI voice technology to your consumer base. And again, remember, if you're going to prioritize what you're doing in the first half of 2025, you're going to want to prioritize penetration, market share. And this is what our entire aim is to help you guys do that. Right?
Yeah. Okay. And last quick one. How about a brand voice? An idea, brand voice serving as the underlying engine for a lot of the agents that you would build. Again, throwing just that out there, and that'll be my final one, I promise.
Yeah. Speaking of voices, we're gonna be adding like I think 15 new voices tomorrow morning when you wake up. So you're gonna
Yeah,
see brand
good.
new voices, including a French accent from Quebecois and tone for yourself. They're
Hey,
coming out.
I try one, and it's like
It's
Alex
coming
Boutin. Yeah, it's
out.
really nice.
So this is the truth. At the airport, Reza was trying out the French voice, and he forgot that he had set out this French voice he chose in the new one. And he picked it up, and he thought he was for the first 30 seconds talking to a real human being. It was that good, and then he realized that it was a call that he had set up himself with the AI. So yeah, they sound great. I'm really excited to see what you guys think. Yeah. So Dana.
Yeah, we've been talking about voice, and you had mentioned chatbots a few minutes ago. Would you talk about what the use of AI chatbots versus voice? Because I'm having a hard time wondering why somebody would even want a chatbot these days when we have voice.
I think the use case for chatbots are going to exist absolutely. I don't think they're going to ever really go away because there's so many situations where you don't want to have to speak out loud, right? And you're in a, whether you're like, just think of the fact that, the same situation, you're at an airport and there's a lot of people around you. You can't even hear if you go on the phone. Of course, there's noise cancellation. But again, there's definitely that mode where you just want a quick answer for something and you're interchanging, where it will be absolutely useful. Also, some people like to read and absorb content better that way. So there'll be the ability to do that. Um, the other thing is when you think of chatbots, we think of it almost too literally, right? To me, what the output of a chatbot is text. So if you're thinking of text can be read by not just human beings, but what else? Other machines, right? So that has a huge power when you're building a network of agents and you're trying to build a system of autonomy. It's going to absolutely play a big part still. It's not going away anywhere. And they'll see them on websites, of course. You'll see them, but also in the back end being consumed by these chatbots, right? Actually, at the heart of even AI voice is text.
So
I hope it
should
helps.
this modify the way that we approach a business? Um,
Well, again, you have to pick a lane. You got to pick a lane, Dina. You can be both, but you remember that I think there's a lot of value when you've got 8 billion AI voice assistants that are going to be out there by 2025. I think there's a very strong reason to just lean really, really strong in one direction. And I'm myself am leaning into the AI voice platform, but not
yeah,
because I
that's
don't think,
all.
yeah, yeah.
That's all that I want to hammer. There's one one more question. I think that I had requested this earlier. Uh, as far as when do you expect we might be able to get website scraping, and with the website scraping, putting on a voice widget on somebody else's website for show and tell? It would be a really good leverage to help sell it, I think.
Yeah. I I'm calling it right now that that's going to be your new year kind of game changing strategy. So that's when you're going to have it. I just answered your question, I hope.
Yep, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the new year. January 1st.
Giving you some new toys to go into the new year with.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mark Benda.
Yeah, thanks. My video is not working for some reason. The question I have is with the incredible fast advancement of all the AI and the competitors and so forth, what is it that you guys are doing to stay on the leading edge of that and give us a competitive advantage? Because you know, it's a blue ocean now, but as time marches on, it's going to become much, much more competitive.
A great question. I mean, the first and foremost thing is we already feel like we're ahead of the curve. We feel like our voice is there. But it's the continual research that we're doing, the investments we're making into actually the area that I'm focused most on, which I think is something that I even spread today on the community, is the ability to understand emotion, to be able to speak with more tonality. These are the areas that I'm making my bets on, and what you guys will benefit from to keep at the foray. I think the more human-like and the more intelligent that these conversations become, the easier it becomes for people to adopt it, and that removes a massive friction. Hope I answered your question, Mark.
To some degree, you did, yeah. Now, a question. Speaking about that, are you
Yeah.
recommending to actually let people know it is an AI bot versus trying to pretend that it's a real human? Because I mean, most people can kind of figure it out, and if they're not, it seems kind of like a little bit out of integrity personally.
Mark, all of our AI, when we build the demos, actually introduce themselves as virtual assistants. And if they're asked the question, is this AI, respond ethically correctly by yes, we are an AI bot. So we do not hide that. That is a personal choice that Thinker has made, that we want to be up in the forefront of that. We do not want to be part of any kind of scheme of trying to fool people that this is AI. I know there are other people that have let that be the community's choice, but we've decided not to at this point in time.
Okay, no, that's good. The last question I have is, and it was brought up a little bit earlier, if we have some quote standard AI prompting skills and we go to Ava, can there be a document or some training on how to quote prompt it without really prompting it? Because I almost feel like I need to unlearn what I've learned,
Yeah.
and I don't have the tools and the skill set to know how to actually steer it and make it do certain things. Where with prompting, I can be very accurate and deliberate about what I want it to do.
Yeah. So 100%. You know, because we talked earlier today that that's on its way out. But also included in that is a very, very deep and resourceful help documentation that we'll be launching very soon as well.
Okay.
To give you those tips.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking aloud here. It would be nice to have even just copy and paste sentences or paragraphs. It's like, okay, if we want it to pre-qualify somebody, here's the framework. Change these keywords or whatever. So like if we had sort of like a track to run on and we didn't have to like play with it and figure it out ourselves for, you know, sort of the most common use case scenarios, that would be super helpful.
So, you know, where we're taking this, Mark, first is like just the documentation that you can at least go read and learn. But our vision for this is for you to come into Ava and just verbally communicate what you wanted to build and say, I want the best of this. And now auto select the right framework for me, build out my script, and then I can view it, test it, and tweak it as I need to. And really done with the power of voice, right? That's what we envision, and that's what we're working to create. And actually, it's in our roadmap.
Okay, that's cool. But even teaching us how to ask it that verbally in the proper format so that it's the most efficient and effective. Awesome.
I think I'm gonna just ask you to come over and we'll do it one afternoon together.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the question again. Who's next? Is that you, Steven? I think you've got your hand up. And you're muted
Unmute
again.
there. All right, I've got one of the first tasks that I'm doing. I created a project today, and we've got 6 full-time appointment setters that I'm going to try and replace. Okay. And once they basically set an appointment, we have like 3 different kind of questions that we ask them after they schedule an appointment. We want to make sure that let them know that we're going to be sending them a video that we'd like them to watch, which pre-frames the conversation, and we want to ask them to confirm the appointment so it shows up on their calendar. And
Yep.
then we also want to ask them to, if for any reason they can't show up, please let us know so we can let somebody else have the appointment. And I was wondering if I couldn't figure out how, or if it's the standard scheduler, if there's a way that we could actually include those questions to be asked once the appointment has been, once they've said that they want the appointment and we've set the time and stuff like that to start with. That's
It's an
my first
interesting
question.
thing. Yeah. So right now we have something called the qualifier scheduler, which asks the questions and kind of disqualifies them based on some of their answers, right? What you're saying is actually you want to book the meeting and then after that, have that it's almost like you want to do capture questions after they've confirmed that they want to, right?
Right. Right.
Could you put that into a feature request? We can create something like that for you. But we don't
Okay.
have one out of the box that does that right this moment. The one we have actually asks the questions first before allowing the meeting to be scheduled.
Okay. And then next question is, my six setters that we've got so far, they typically we want them to make like 200 dials a day. How many calls can one AI bot make, say per hour, per day type of thing right now?
I mean, we literally call 250 people in 10 minutes prior to a call, like a conference. So, you can call quite a few people. It depends on the usage, right? But
Depends on how
let's
many answer, obviously, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that was what I was going to ask you. Like, how many calls, meaning how many numbers can you dial versus how many people pick up? Really depend on the latter, right? But
well, I
we
could
have.
probably put 20,000 leads in there. So
Yeah, go to town with it. We've had people do that and they've got those. I think I've seen people do 5,000 calls in an hour.
really, 5,000 calls in an hour. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because we've got a place out in Cebu, out in the Philippines, which is right in the heart of the call center capital of the world.
Yeah.
So once we knock this down here for this, I mean, there's 20-story buildings all across the street here that from top to bottom are nothing but call centers.
Yeah. I would say, let's even say it's 5,000 people in a day. That's way more than the 200 a day your setters are doing, right? So,
Yeah, no, it's like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, that's
right.
amazing. So
Yeah.
okay, cool, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. No, I'm looking for it. And do send that into the ticket. I'll prioritize it for you, Steve.
I talked to Mohammed when we were on a call earlier today, and he asked me to put it into support ticket. So I put it in there already in the support ticket type
Amazing.
of thing.
Okay. We'll get onto it then. Cool.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe it's Antoine.
How are you?
How are you?
Nice.
Bonjour, ça va?
Très bien, vous?
Ça va bien?
Yeah, I tried like French Canadian voice, and there's one. It's called Alexandre Boutin on the on Viva.
You have early access to it, so I know you've seen it. Yes.
And this one is this is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is real. This is French Canadian, soft, not too
Exactly.
hard or strong in the ears.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. So my question was like, someone maybe asked you, like looking for templates to configure projects that allow us to experiment with different approach. Could you provide some flexible template that can be tailored to varying methodologies or requirements?
So can you give me like a little bit more examples of what you look for? Like we have lots and lots of examples. You haven't seen the snapshots yet, but we have lots of examples in the snapshots. We're going to be actually releasing a new snapshot early next week with even more examples that we built. One for each of the scenarios that we have, but also the new scenarios that we're launching. And then to the point that I think my friend Mark just made here, which is like, can you provide snippets? I think we'll take that away and try to provide that as well and follow up update. But definitely more examples is kind of one way in which you can learn them and that we're providing. And I always try to provide some like video explanations of each of these as I give them out.
It will be uploaded in the community, or I need to send an email to someone.
Well, for you in particular, we need to get you on, and then
Okay.
we'll install in your GHL version all of these examples for you. You'll just have a
Okay, great.
snapshot that you can load into there.
Thanks, Mon.
Of course, sir. Not a problem.
Because when they in French, I don't know if it's in English, when they're looking for dates an hour for confirmation, it's taking a little bit time. So I would prompt the AI to say, hey, give me a time to watch my calendar. Then
Got it.
the
Got it.
people, the listener will be aware. He will not wait for in the dark.
So you're actually kind of worried that it goes silent for too long. Yeah, that's actually a very easy thing to fix. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Joe. Joe, are you
Can you
there?
hear me now? Yeah,
Now we can hear you. Nice to meet you, Joe.
nice to meet you. My question is, if the AI is doing calls or inbound or outbound, regardless, if there's a transfer, can you set it up for a round robin?
Can you explain what you mean by round robin? So like it goes to a different number based on
So, I mean, if I have the AI is doing calls and let's just say there's an inbound call that comes in and it's beyond the level of the maturity of the AI, it needs to be handled probably by, the sales associate. Can it go into a round robin where it's not just one agent's receiving all the calls,
Yeah.
it goes into a
Well,
hunting?
yeah, so we didn't consider the round robin. I think that's a fantastic idea. What we're doing is actually allowing you to transfer to multiple numbers based on conditions. But the round robin is an easy extension of that. That I think if you put in a feature request, I'd be more than happy to put that into the roadmap and get that out. That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, for my sales agent, that's what I would need. Okay, that's really,
Yeah, so we had imagined for the case where, somebody calls in and says, I'll just use this example because it's the easiest for me to explain this, which is, hey, it's like a switchboard, right? I called in, I'd like to talk to Dr. A versus Dr. B versus Dr. C, and you say the name, so I want to talk to Dr. B, and we then transfer to that number. What you're saying is no, you need to just have a round robin with here are the 10 numbers and try to dial out. If you don't get the first one, then dial the second one. If you don't get the second one, dial the fourth one, right? That's what you want.
yes, because I don't want the call to go a little bit warm just because nobody was able to close the deal. It goes into a round
Yep.
robin. Hopefully one of the sales agents will
That's
pick
a
up and
fantastic
carry the,
idea. Yeah.
okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah,
That's it.
no, we don't have that today, Joe, is the answer, but guess what that's gonna do for me? It's going on my roadmap.
Cool.
Awesome.
Just
Thank
tacking
you.
on to the end of that, a ring all would be a nice option as well. So the first person to pick up the phone gets the call.
Lovely. Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Just call and then whoever answers it, cancel it. Yeah. It's an interesting use case that's very associated with this. I don't know if you guys have thought about this, but the ability to actually trace that a call has come through, right? And that's part of the same capabilities that you'll have as part of our tech. Who's next? Brian.
Hello. I have a couple quick questions, and I appreciate you for taking your time and being on here. First thing is there a particular document that goes over the actual project configurations? I haven't got a chance to. Okay, cool. So that's
There's a couple of videos coming out that you haven't gotten yet that talks one by one through each one of the different scenarios. And then
mhm.
each scenario has different project configurations that you can set up depending on which thing.
Sweet. Cool. So in terms of legality with calling leads, I'm super interested in hearing like a little bit of a take in terms of how that plays out.
I mean, our standard response to that is that you should not do cold calling. I know
Sweet,
people
sweet,
don't
sweet.
like to hear that, but that's my standard response to that question. Can I stop you from that? No.
Yeah,
Um,
cool, cool,
you,
cool.
you should get opt-in and do it the proper way to avoid
Okay,
any kind of issues. Yeah.
okay. And then another question. This is more like a idea. I love I see that homie Rahul is here, and I love hearing him give ideas on how you could potentially sell certain things, but I haven't heard him talk much about. He always like gives me like great ideas and start like implementing things and try
There you go.
to win for it. But I'm definitely curious about, hearing about how this can be mass marketed to bigger agencies and how it can be lucrative on the front, but also on the back end. It's something that I'm continually trying to internalize. I'm sure, like,
Go to town,
I don't know if
Ruffles.
he's
Just
still
wants to be
All
used.
right, I'm just gonna kind of freestyle and go fast a bit, but when you mentioned agencies, based on what you're saying, I would do the affiliate program play just because they're gonna also want their unlimited sub accounts. If you sell it to an agency and then they want unlimited sub accounts, they'll be under yours, so they won't have any control. So the affiliate link is gonna be the best play. That's 40% for anybody that uses their link, does the content, does what you need to do to be able to stand out. Right now with the affiliate program, it's open season. Somebody mentioned Blue Ocean. This doesn't get any, this is like Hawaii Blue right now. Like you could like, there's so much opportunity at the moment because you guys will be the first movers of our first group of clients. So we're really kind of ready to pop on that. So that's from the affiliate play. Now, in terms of the clients and the direct clients, that is low hanging fruit that you built up in the database for up until now. The first thing, if I was in that situation where I had a database, I don't necessarily want to call every single person all at the same time. Just let your virtual or voice assistant do the heavy lifting for you to do a database reactivation with voice. Bring them
Mhm.
back. This thing with the right, when you connect it to your calendar ID, it will know how to automatically book you on appointments. So, for example, when we ran an ad campaign to our booking bot, it just was rapid fire booking for us. We'd never seen such a thing unless we took the clock back to 2008 to 2010. Like booked appointments are coming in hot at $25. That's literally over a decade ago of what you can really get. And if you've run ads long enough, you know what I'm talking about. Today, you may get lucky with $150 bookings, depending on the segment and the audience. But this can definitely take care of that. But the low hanging fruit is our databases. A lot of people have 20,000 people. I know Steve had mentioned dialing a lot of people at volume with a call center. If you have that kind of volume, you can deploy this very quickly, and you can call as many times as you feel like is comfortable based on your audience. But you can literally like Mason A, Mason Armbruster. I mean, the
Mace.
tiny, yeah, Mace Dog, a tiny list of 400 people, 9 sales in 48 hours. All he did was just didn't dick around. He actually implemented it, right? So some of the questions are really, really good, but also they're future-based questions once the feature is available. My suggestion is focus on what you have right now, implement just the simple stuff. The complex stuff comes in due time. Because like I want it all. I want every voice. I want LeBron James. I want Shaquille O'Neal. I want it all, but I'm not waiting for it. If it comes, it comes. Right now, this is like it replaces the cost that I'm wasting. I've spent millions of dollars on ads. I have leads that we've probably never called more than twice. Now I can call them 13 times it takes to what data tells me. Sales happen in the 5th to 11th touch point. That's just fact. Right. So now I can mop up the backlog that we've constantly also ignored as an organization, because now we have infinite scale versus like from our type of business setup as marketing agencies, hire the setters, train the setters, neutralize their accents, train them again. They quit, hire another person, fire them. Now you're underwater. Now you take your own leads. Now you wiped out your whole call center. Now what do? Start over. I burned out. Right. So that's like what we live. That's our truth right now. We've all felt that. I've felt that 1,000 times. But this solves that. It's just exciting when you have a cutting edge technology that can just do the dog work for you, from monetizing your leads, at least booking them. Number two, following up with them. Number three, I can take inbound calls and qualify them should you want them qualified, or you go broad-based, come one, come all. If you're a human and you speak English or whatever language your AI does, get them on your calendar. Have a 10-minute call instead of a 30-minute call when you don't know who they are, so you can feel them out with a salesperson or whatever your setup is. If you do webinars, have call your whole database to invite them. Call them right before 15, 20 minutes before to attend. Call them after the webinar to book a sales call or the next logical step. So what you have right now is just infinite, not just for you, but for the people who have those kind of business setups, realtors, lenders, Tony Robbins coaching, whatever, like you name it, they can use it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Rahul. I have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Yes,
let
sir.
me just go one last thing and then ask that question. So there's 4 things that I've been telling everybody. Number 1, get it in your business. Number 2, use it right away. Or let me go that as part of 1. 1, get it in your business and use it. 2, make sure you have your demo set up so you can demonstrate it so they can hear, feel, and touch it. So you can send it, post it everywhere you want, like on your profiles, on your email blast, text blast, etc. It builds your database for you. When you set up the bot, they'll be able to experience the use cases. And then also on the back end, it can follow up 7 or 10 minutes later to auto call them a second time to also book them back on your calendar to take you up on your offer. Those are things we can do right now. Then go get one client and get that one client to use it properly. Get their database imported, do a DBR campaign, have them play with it, have them giggle about it. Once they're sticky on it, game on. Go get the next 10, 20, 30 people over the next time, whatever timeline you're on.
Sweet. Sweet.
It's that
Now, in
simple.
terms,
Just don't think, do, right? Nike slogan.
yes, sir.
Anybody know the little thing that they call it? Nike's slogan. Type it in the chat because that's what we're going to tell you to do. On to question number 2, for you, Brian.
Yes, yes, yes. In terms of the qualification, is there a way to incorporate multiple calendars? The way I do it now, I have like if someone is qualified, I want to get them on a one-to-one. If someone is not qualified, I want to get them to a group call, right? So so I can do like a lower value something or something like that. Is there any way to either book the qualified people and maybe send out a link to people who are, or what type of do we have like any sort of endpoint to say these people aren't qualified? Do something different than get them in front of me one-on-one.
I'm going to defer to you, Mohan. So the question, just summarizing the question, unqualified people, like I'm just going to speak and then Mohan, you validate. If the voice AI is just going to go in and book and just saying, hey, we want to get you on a call, it's been a while. Let's just say that's the script for whatever reason. Then we go like that will automatically hook into that calendar ID. That's just like, goes to a shorter call. Now, if you have a qualifying voice agent going out, then I would think theoretically it can go to a different calendar ID, which is like, all right, this is the baller people. This is the Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, Louise, right? We want those to go for a longer Zoom call. Am I explaining that correct, Mohan?
Yeah, so we have the opposite a little bit. We do have qualification scheduler, but I like the way you're thinking, Rahul, which we can easily modify that to do. But at the moment, there's only one calendar that it books it on. And what it does allows you to ask your qualification questions or your disqualification questions or capture questions. So in other words, if you got your questions up front, then you know that this is not somebody you want to bother booking a meeting with. You ask that up front, and if they answer in a certain way, like, hey, I want, think of the fitness gym, right? I want to call and go, hey, do you have any type of heart conditions? And then say yes. Well, sorry, unfortunately, we can't qualify and book that meeting fee for our offer right now because you have to be healthy, whatever the reason is, right? That's absolutely out of the box. And you look at the qualification scheduler, that's in the box. Then the cool thing is the next question is they say, no, I'm completely fit and healthy. Then you go, well, what are your fitness goals? That's something we call a capture question, where you can ask an open-ended question, capture that information, and now before you have that meeting with the person, you already know what their fitness goals are. All right.
Okay.
So that's a very, very powerful scenario that we've built for you. And again, it's as simple as just coming in and putting in your questions.
Sweet. I want to definitely try that out. And yeah, and if there's any way that you can think of that it could perhaps do something else to or follow up or have like an endpoint to say that they're disqualified, because I can send out, automation or something like that. Hey, book your own self. I don't want to spend more time on it, but that would be awesome.
Yeah. So what you need to do is you just need to go look at the payload of the call. So you set up a trigger point inside of
Mhm.
GHL,
Yes,
and
sir.
then you can set up your action based on how the call went. Right. So you'll have
Oh,
sentiment analysis, right? Oh, shoot, did I say that already? I did. Okay. Tomorrow you will have sentiment analysis.
what?
You'll be able to. I just keep on thinking these things are
That's
available.
awesome.
Yeah, so you'll have sentiment analysis. So you'll know whether the call went well, it's neutral, or like a positive sentiment, a neutral sentiment, and what we call a negative sentiment. And then you can develop your workflows and actions based on that. You can also
Okay.
get that transcript, the full transcript inside of
Ah,
and then you can go to town with GPT and extract whatever you want to. So you can say,
okay.
hey, um, did this person actually? And you also know if a meeting was booked or not. And if the meeting wasn't,
Ah,
you can then put them into a different pipeline for a different type of follow up. And yeah, like this is the advanced stuff that we haven't
so,
got into here yet. But that's what I
okay.
want to start doing next week. Every alternating week, we're gonna have the advanced conversations about here's what you can do and how you can build these really awesome type of
Ah,
workflows.
so you have the transcript that you're able to send from the,
Yeah, you
oh,
can get that right
oh,
away.
great.
Yeah, loads
Uh,
of examples in your snapshots. Just go
Sweet.
take a look at the anyone with a trigger point in it, like a meeting booked one. And
Cool.
if you look in the workflow, you'll see that I just add that to a note on the contact.
Cool. Thank you. Thank
All
you very
documented,
much. Thank you guys very, very kindly.
of
Appreciate you.
course.
It's awesome what you're doing. Yep.
Thank you. Oh, he said you could also have the AI voice transfer to another agent, right? I'm sorry there, I don't understand your question. I know I'm intercepting poor Scott here, but
Oh yeah, I was talking with Brian's question. It may be that, like again, if someone's not qualified, right, it could then, okay, let's transfer it to a different, you could use the call transfer it to a different AI voice, which is then tied to the other calendar.
yes, that's a good way
So
of
that'd
doing it.
be that'd be something that you could do right now. But yeah.
That'd be
Sweet.
very
Thank you.
good.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Larry.
Scott,
What
it's
is
been a
up,
while.
bud? How are
You
you?
look at
No, it hasn't been a while. We talk all every week. I have a couple things. First of all, I love this community because there's so many great ideas. Second, I know we're talking about prompts and scenarios and everything. Have you thought about a shared community where people are developing these prompts and you guys can authorize them and we can share them among each other?
I don't know if you're just trying to get more out of me or what, but yes, we
No,
have.
that's just exactly what came to my brain. We were doing like I've been in
Yeah, I
communities
mean,
where
the
we've
the
got
the, vi-
prompt.
the vision for this, Scott, is a marketplace where people can deploy their own creations, their own scenarios, their own whatever we end up calling them. There's a
Perfect.
there's a name that Cody has for it, which I don't know if I'm allowed to share yet, so I won't. But yes, we're definitely entertaining that idea.
Cool. Second question is I know everybody's talking about outbound and volume.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I'm working on, and we were talking with a couple of these groups, and they have literally over 100,000 people that we need to reach out and ingest data on.
Yeah.
What is the capacity for inbound especially if we're connecting to GHL and volume as far as throughput? Because our concern
Oh,
is if we get to that true enterprise level, is
yeah.
there enough throughput that GHL
Yes.
can handle
Yes,
that
we would
and
have
manage
to
that
talk
data?
about creating more throughput for you in that case.
Okay.
But the technology to scale up to that level is there, and the concurrency levels that you would need, we could support. There'd be additional cost for that, Scott, because that's obviously a large load. But absolutely, from a tech part, we could scale up to that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not, yeah, the cost part is more, I understand that, working in those worlds of upping throughput and costs. Last question is, I know, we had talked last week and the call was great about direct connections, API connections to like Service Titan and things like that. Any thought of an open AI connection to you guys that where we could connect to our own microservices and do things where we're not using GHL, we're writing our own technology, but we want to connect and pull the data from you guys?
Well, that would just be an API integration, right? You just want basically.
Correct. It would be, we want to pull from you to on the microservices that we build ourselves because we would have our own infrastructure and put it up.
We haven't published like a Swagger file of our APIs intentionally because it's still in this kind of like something that we use internally.
Okay.
If that's something you're looking for, we can talk, Scott. But we would
Even even if it's a private, done thing where we could do that, that'd be, it may not be open,
reason why
but
we
there
can
are.
integrate it to that. So the closest we're getting to exposing that is something that we're working on, which is to integrate this into like a make.com or a Zapier. Probably
Yep.
make first.
Make,
where you'll
please.
yeah, where you'll have these modules where you can then invoke an outbound call from the module, right? So that's
Okay.
where we're heading, and it'll probably be outbound first and then inbound.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, as usual, I appreciate you. Your help was incredible. The demo we did this week based on you and Rosa's help was phenomenal.
I'm excited to see where this goes for you, Scott. It's awesome.
We got one across the line today, and we've got several that will cross the line in January.
Cool, cool, cool. Oh, Crix, I don't know if you're cheering him on or what's going on there, but
I was.
just thought
I like it when Scott wins.
yeah, me too. Crix, how are you? It's been a moment.
Good, bud. It's been too many moments. Too many technology. I feel I'm a one-legged guy in a butt kicking contest and I'm losing. Hey man, good to see you. I really only raised my hand for one thing, but I knew I'd maybe come up with two more with everyone talking. My first and foremost was I just want to say, I mean, I feel like I probably missed a lot and I don't want to ask a lot of stuff that's probably been answered, but
Okay.
I just heard somebody say, so you can use that call transfer to transfer to new agents.
Well, any phone number, and if the phone number is bound to an agent, you could technically call the agent. Yeah, we've been doing that really quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
We've built a whole swarm of agents that we test the quality of calls with. That's how we do some of our call quality tests.
Okay. And I know you told me when you originally built that qualifier for me where to get the end data once it's done in GHL.
Yeah.
Like all those questions. Can you tell me again?
You mean the payload, like the answer to the question? Yeah. So when you get your trigger and the meeting was successfully booked, or even if it's not booked, but the call was completed, you'll be able to it's basically there's a call dot. The format is very similar. And you can just click on the I'll make a video for you, Crix, and I'll put it online.
Okay.
But you just click on the little thing that I call it the envelope, the price tag.
Yeah.
And you'll see access to all. It's called AI voice. I think if you're using for the inbound, it'll say inbound. If you're using for the outbound, it'll just say AI voice, and then you'll see all of the different data loads that you can get there. So all the basically the payload, and you
cool. So I can throw that in the router and tell.
And if you have any difficulty,
tell it to do something. I can update the contact, put it in. From there, we can do it. I just wanted to know where it was. I think I can do it. Correct. And then Portuguese.
Let's get Spanish and French out first, then we'll talk Portuguese.
Okay, I got a hotel ready to pay me money. It just happened to be in Brazil, and
wow,
it was weird as hell. I mean, it just came up today, so I said, "Well, I'll ask Mohan."
So here's the answer to all of the language questions. I'll say it on video so everybody knows. Once we've done one language, it gets easier to do the next ones. Okay. So
I mean, we're
very close to launching Spanish, and if you talk to Antoine, he knows we're very close to launching French as well. So these are weeks away for these two languages, not months. and then we can take requests for other languages. I'm sorry, Chris, I can't promise you Portuguese at this moment, but I'll put it on the
Yeah, no,
list.
you don't have to. I just asked. I mean, the person who owns the hotel happens to be my VC, so I might ask it again, but
Got the message, Chris.
no, thanks. But no, we'll definitely keep it busy with the chat right now, with the just using AI, using OpenAI on
Do
it.
me a
But
favor, just submit it as a ticket on the help site, and that way we can keep it put it on the roadmap. It'll get prioritized.
sweet. Sweet. And then I'm spending all day in there tomorrow. I feel like I have a lot to catch up, but I just wanted to ask, is there a way you guys do like any one-on-ones or stuff? I mean, I have questions just about like getting my minutes and the SaaS hooked up, and so I don't want to like take this on here, but
Yeah.
is there a way for us to book that?
Rahul, is there a way to book that?
Yeah, like do you want to book like the tech side of things, or you want the strategy and sales side of things?
Tech.
Okay, that'll be with either you or Mohan.
Yep, we can set something up. I'll give you a link. If you reach out
Okay.
to us,
And really, to be fair, I'm gonna go into the membership area and catch up, and then if I feel like hey, I got it, maybe I won't even bother you. But then if it's there, I can show up early next week.
Just route through me, Chris. Go through the materials that you go through tomorrow and spend the time. And then if you find yourself stuck, just ping me directly. I'll get you all coordinated.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
End of the hour.
Well, and hey, I just wanted to make sure that remember how you set the agency up on the right and our minutes were in the other one? Did that got all good?
I believe so. Yeah. As far
Okay,
as I
good.
know, if there's any issues, let me know. But yes, you should be all set up.
Okay, cool.
I
really just wanted to make sure they're there because I'm gonna call 5,000 people tomorrow, and I just wanted to.
And if they're not, just where to look to find out how many minutes you have.
Yeah, well, I know where it says in the sub account. So when I logged in yesterday to check it out, I clicked on the agency, and then I got lost, and so I can get into the sub account and the agency account, but I don't know how they connect.
Okay, do me a favor. I'm gonna veto that. Just send me an email. Try to find some time for you tomorrow, and we'll do 15 minutes just to make sure you can make your calls, because I don't want anything to interrupt your calls. Myself or Mohammed or Alima will jump on a call with you quickly and make sure.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. Because if you got calls to make, you got calls to make. Hey, Amir, how are you?
Hey, Mohan. So, some of my questions are regarding languages and translations and things like that. I guess, is my understanding correct? This is all based on OpenAI and ChatGPT for now, right? The LLM that's being used in the backend.
We use multiple LLMs. Definitely using ChatGPT, but we're using also some Cloud, some Mistral, some other things as well.
Okay. So, I mean, out of the box, most of these speak at least like 48 languages and whatnot. I've used them all the time, switch, because I only speak 2 languages, but for the rest, I rely on AI to do a great job of translating and everything. What's elementally the problem? Like, why would you need to create like Spanish or French or any other language separately and independently? I mean, couldn't it
Well,
and the
first of all,
tool
you're talking about translation on ChatGPT versus what we're doing, right? So what we're doing is we're actually working also on the voice level, where it depends on accents and also interpretation. The other thing that we do differently is we do extraction, right? So all of the extraction and understanding things correctly, then the translations we need to do. And then add on top of that we're creating a product experience for you guys to use. All those things. That's why I said once we do one, it's a lot easier to add the other ones. But we also are very much cautious of just, the minute you put 20 languages out there, guess what you're supporting?
20 languages.
20 languages. Yeah. I'm gonna be careful because I have to have the team and the capacity and the people that can actually understand how to solve those problems. So it's a choice.
Noted.
Not just a matter of the technology and the technical capabilities to do that.
Noted. Yeah,
But you're
because
right.
the use cases that I'm thinking about, we already had a conversation about the medical field, the health field.
Yeah,
And
how's that going?
so,
I didn't hear back from you after that.
man, it's been crazy busy this couple of weeks.
Cool.
So, you know, I was thinking about maybe a medical office calling their patients, right? And in their database, they understand, they do have a feel for the native language of these patients. They speak, some of them speak Fars,
Yep.
Persian, Vietnamese. I mean, they got, this is
So for
LA,
you,
man.
more
Got,
languages is going to be a big help. Yeah, I understand.
right. So, I guess ultimately the goal would be at some time in the future, perhaps, uh, the AI would be intelligent enough and sensitive enough to, or maybe even get in a database reactivation, it can just pull that language field from the database to know what language it should be talking with them, and or maybe if that field is not available, it can perhaps ask a question, or maybe see and detect a, let's say, Spanish accent, and maybe say, hey, you speak, would you like to switch to Spanish? That's that kind of intelligence that would be making their lives
Oh yeah,
easier. So
and I don't know if I gave the wrong impression. We're absolutely going to do it. It's just a question of when. Yeah,
got it.
and as you can tell, we're already starting to roll out different languages, so it's on our roadmap. I just can't
Oh,
promise
you
you
guys are
when.
fantastic, man. You're really getting this shit done.
We're working as hard as we can. There's a lot of things, and again, I want to go back to what, because Mark's got his hand up, so I'm going to give him props. I had a great conversation with Mark. Um, it's about building an experience, right? And there's lots of parts of it. There's the technology part of it. There's the onboarding part of it. There's the um, ongoing support that needs to be presented. So we are making choices where to put our time. Right now, for me, it's most important to make sure that you all are out there and able to go and do what you need to do. And that's why, working with Cody and Rahul on making sure that the strategy is a big part of what we also provide to you all. Um, Working with Reza to make sure that he's got everything he's on the technology side, and then taking the feedback. I take lots of calls to make sure we understand how we can improve our process. So
Right.
that's part of all of what we're doing, including adding languages and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate it. One last question.
Yeah.
Again, I'm also very active in the life insurance industry, and
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
yeah, and I had before Ava, I had created a mind map, a blueprint of what I wanted to do with text and everything else. But now, this is a game changer. I have to revamp, do the whole thing, including, it just makes it a lot easier. I noticed that in the membership area, in the group, in the community, there was a thing about WFG, the World Financial Group. I'm assuming that's what. I don't really know anything about it yet. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet. But is that something that touches on about recruiting and or stuff like that?
They're a big organization. They're part of Trans America, and they're
Right.
part of the niches that I have been focused on for a long time. And you're most welcome to join me in that.
Yes, and absolutely, because a group that I'm a part of is right on par with WFG. They just have a different name, and I'm
Yeah.
just wondering that maybe I can turn things around and just use what's already been built and apply it there for time to market.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, is that something that I would be able to do on my own, or is that something that I would probably need to do to get done
Well, I
with you
mean,
guys?
while here's how I would answer that question. All of the voice calling, what the capabilities of it, you'd have to like build your own workflows and your own, snapshots and all that stuff. but I can definitely talk strategy with you, and we can talk about that on these calls, or we can set up one-on-ones, can tell you what's working, what's not working, so you can definitely build upon that. It's no reason to start from scratch.
Right.
But obviously I've built my own IP with a lot of what I've built in terms of the snapshots and the automations. But again, more than willing to share what's working, what's not.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, fantastic, man. I mean, we need to have another session. And part of the thing that we had in our last conversation was that I needed to jump in and, get thinker.ai and apply it. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I'm taking your advice.
Exactly. Really excited to see you here, actually. I'm so happy to see you, actually. All right,
Thank
Amir.
you.
Well, this is the last question because we're 20 minutes over. So, Mark, once again, my friend, what's your question?
Super. So the outbound voice AI is fantastic. The one issue is all the tests that I've seen, my phone flags them all as spam. Is there a process or a procedure where you can somehow whitelist it and add the name? And is there a resource on where and how to do that?
Yeah, I'll send you some copies. It's all on Twilio. And also it's called, I think, called Stir or something like Stir, not Shaken.
Shaken, stirred, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Like,
You just need to.
because I mean, if we can get them answered, we're obviously going to get better results. And then along that, are some of you already doing this where you send a text first and maybe you get them to reply, yes, are you okay for a call right now? So you could use text to kind of vet their availability. And then on the reply, trigger the outbound voice AI.
Yeah,
Because they're going to get the
I'll answer
text
for
before they're
myself.
going to answer the phone.
I'll answer for myself. It depends on the business, right? That you're using it for, the use case. So with some businesses, what we've done is we've actually sent out mass emails to let people know that an AI agent will be calling, so that people are not surprised the first time they hear it. Definitely, we use text and email to let people know. Like, for example, on our Facebook lead campaign, we'll send out a text before we call them.
Okay, super. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Because the goal is for them to pick up the phone.
Yeah, I was in a conversation, Mark, with a local BC real estate agent, another one, not the one I was talking about before, who kind of role played how he does a lot of his calls. And what was very interesting in that particular case is he didn't text before, he wanted to text after. So it's also something to consider. And he wanted to text based on what was being conversed on the call. So, and almost wanted to say stay on the call, and then text them and make sure they actually got the text and acted on it. So that's also something that we're supporting. I talked a little bit about this new scenario we're launching in about a week or so, and that's going to have that capability to do exactly that.
Interesting. That just gave me an idea. So is it currently possible to have the system detect and jam the phone line to make sure it delivers a voicemail?
That's what we're working on. That exactly.
Okay, because that would be cool. Because if you can
I don't know
use,
if I would describe it as jam, but like you can stay on the call.
well, you have to tie up the line in case they try to answer it to make sure you get to the voicemail, right? So whatever that technology is, but if we can force a voicemail and we can use custom fields out of GHL or some other database to customize the voice message that's left and then follow it up with a text, even if they never listen to the voicemail, they know they got one and you've kind of opened the door.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Let's map that out. I like that. Cool. The answer is let's explore.
I'm just reading the text. Yeah, good point. To send a text from the same number, you've got to A2P it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Augustine who said that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, HIPAA. Medical is HIPAA on the roadmap to be HIPAA compliant? Because for the whole medical verticals, that's obviously a huge issue.
It's on the roadmap, but definitely not in the first half of 2025.
Sure. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of people here. I want to thank you all for showing up, and I think the engagement and the question quality was phenomenal. Appreciate you all and wish you a tremendously successful start if those of you starting. And I believe Rahul's challenge is a good one. Go out there and get your first client and then don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. Any last notes that you want to say or add to it, Rahul?
No, they just come to these regularly. They're going to be every single Thursday inside the community. Post your wins in the wins thread there. It helps everybody. If you describe the details, I'm sure you'll be a very popular person for the day. So you can help a lot of other people too. Use this community to help each other, not just us helping you. That's the most important thing. Just treat this as like your product, your family, your friends, because we're building this on the back end for all the feedback that you guys have. But use the tools you have at your disposal now. I know that there's always going to be a wish list. There's always going to be a new language. There's always going to be always, right? But what you have at your disposal now is something that the world needs and wants. You can make money now without waiting for the perfect day. Okay. That is it for tonight. Thank you guys for all staying awake wherever you're tuning in from or just waking up. We'll see you guys next Thursday. And for those of you guys that are seeing us more often, we'll see you more often. All right.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.